3IATLAS, as you heard, is the third known interstellar object to pass through our solar system, which are designed to find small, fast-moving objects in space.
It is mid-October 2025, and a quiet unease is spreading through the astrophysics community. Within a single week, research teams monitoring the interstellar object known as 3I/ATLAS began noticing something they couldn't easily explain: gaps in NASA's public data feeds, telemetry entries missing, infrared images cut short, routine updates suddenly ending in unexplained blackouts. At first, everyone assumed it was technical. NASA's servers have glitched before. Systems go down, data gets delayed, and small gaps rarely mean anything dramatic. But that assumption didn't last. On a private scientific forum used by astronomers and data analysts, an anonymous user posted fragments of encrypted files that appeared to be internal 3I/ATLAS reports. The sender identified himself only as a retired NASA systems engineer. Embedded in those documents were infrared images and internal memos stamped with NASA classification codes. One line stood out, and it has since been repeated in labs and observatories around the world: energy signatures inconsistent with natural cometary processes. That single sentence took 3I/ATLAS from interesting object to global mystery. Before we break down exactly what's happening and what might be at stake, make sure you subscribe to Deep Space so you don't miss the next wave of data, updates, and explanations as this situation evolves. What we know so far: 3I/ATLAS is the third confirmed interstellar object to pass through our solar system, after Oumuamua and 2I/Borisov. It was first discovered by the ATLAS survey telescopes in Hawaii, whose main job is to spot potentially hazardous asteroids. From the beginning, 3I/ATLAS didn't behave the way a typical comet should. As it moved deeper into the inner solar system, scientists noticed three things. Its trajectory remained remarkably stable, with almost no detectable tumbling. It emitted faint pulses of infrared radiation, repeating at nearly fixed intervals. Despite being close enough to the Sun for surface ice to vaporize, no visible tail has formed. On their own, those observations were puzzling, but not impossible to explain. Some suggested exotic composition. Others proposed that 3I/ATLAS might be unusually rocky for a comet-like object. Then the leak appeared, and those anomalies began to look like clues instead of just quirks. Researchers in Europe and Japan soon reported something else odd. Their own telescope data streams had been rerouted to private NASA addresses instead of the usual open servers. No one could say who signed the order. The whistleblower's story: the anonymous leaker claims to be a retired engineer who worked on the Deep Space Network, the system that handles communications with far-flung spacecraft. According to him, NASA uses automated software to flag any unusual pattern in incoming data. When 3I/ATLAS was added to the watch list, those alerts triggered over and over. He says 3I/ATLAS set off three distinct alert types, each linked to structured emissions, patterns normally associated with artificial transmitters, not random cosmic rocks. The engineer claims he tried to raise the issue internally and was told that the anomaly would be handled through interagency review. When he later checked his archives, the files were gone reclassified and moved out of his access. Realizing he might never see the data again, he copied what fragments he still had and sent them outside the system. To investigators and journalists, he said, "I don't know what it is, but the data says it isn't random." He hasn't said alien. He hasn't said artificial. He said only this: the signals don't behave like natural noise. NASA's public position. Officially, NASA's stance is calm and controlled. They describe 3I/ATLAS as a natural interstellar object with unexpected thermal variations. A short press release from Jet Propulsion Laboratory, data irregularities under review, and stresses that there is no evidence of an artificial origin. Inside the agency, the tone is different. Researchers describe internal chat channels going quiet. Data that would normally be shared freely between cosmic ray teams, thermal modelling teams, and trajectory analysts now requires permission to access. One analyst at Goddard, speaking anonymously, put it simply: Normally we pass raw feeds around without thinking. This time everyone's waiting for clearance. When asked about the leak, she admitted the formatting and structure of the documents look very real, and added, "If they are, then this is bigger than NASA wants to say right now." The leaked data. Experts who have examined the leaked fragments say the signals look authentic. The data describes periodic emissions around 1420 MHz, the hydrogen line, a frequency astronomers have used for decades to listen for signals from deep space because it's a natural, quiet channel in the radio spectrum. It's possible for natural processes to produce emissions in this range. However, the leaked files don't describe vague noise. They describe structured, repeating pulses. The intervals between pulses are consistent. The energy levels vary within a narrow band. The pattern holds across multiple observation windows. If these findings are confirmed, 3I/ATLAS is not just radiating, it is radiating in patterns. Telescopes at Chile's Paranal Observatory and Japan's Subaru telescope have both reported faint repeating spikes consistent with the leaked frequencies. They're still cautious, but they're not dismissing it. NASA, for its part, has released no new official data on 3I/ATLAS since October 14th. The world starts watching. The European Space Agency has quietly expanded its observational schedule. France's CNES and Germany's DLR are pooling resources with other partners. In India, the Inter-University Centre for Astronomy and Astrophysics plans to target 3I/ATLAS with an upgraded radio array, hoping to verify whether the hydrogen line pulses are real. A joint statement signed by 60 astronomers from 9 countries calls for NASA to release unedited telemetry within 48 hours. If not, several agencies say they will publish their own data unilaterally. One European director summarised the feeling: "If this object truly comes from beyond our star, it belongs to everyone." At the same time, mainstream media has seized on the human drama. Retired NASA engineer claims suppressed data has become a recurring headline. Television panels argue over whether this is a genuine scientific anomaly or a case of hype feeding on ambiguity. Some scientists urge restraint, others argue that transparency is the only protection against misinformation. Social media is less cautious. Amateur astronomers live stream tracking attempts. Forums light up with speculation. Clips showing flashes on the object's surface, likely digital artifacts, go viral. One phrase keeps trending across platforms: not human technology. If you're still with us and following this story as closely as we are, make sure you subscribe to Deep Space. We're going to follow this all the way from first leak to final conclusion, whatever that turns out to be. Behind the scenes in Washington. In the United States, a special subcommittee of the House Science, Space and Technology Committee has reportedly requested a classified briefing from NASA leadership. At the same time, cybersecurity experts have been tracking the origins of the leak itself. Their preliminary conclusion: the data came from inside a genuine NASA network. The access point is associated with the Deep Space Network Station in Goldstone, California. That node went offline for maintenance on October 10, 2025, the same day the leaked files were copied. There is no sign of an external hack. Everything points toward an internal user with access and intent. So the question is no longer, did someone break into NASA? Now it's, why did someone inside feel this data could not stay hidden? NASA has now scheduled a press briefing for October 21st, 2025, with a carefully vague title: Interstellar Object Monitoring Update. Reporters are already gathered outside NASA headquarters. Scientists are preparing statements of their own. The public watches countdown timers online like they're waiting for a rocket launch. In the meantime, telescopes continue to listen. Overnight logs show that the 1420 MHz emissions persisted even when 3I/ATLAS rotated out of direct sunlight behaviour, hard to explain a simple solar interaction. The leaked fragments and the new independent readings now line up almost exactly. Whatever 3I/ATLAS is, it hasn't stopped. Right now, we are living in the middle of the story. No official explanation, no confirmed origin. Only data, disagreement, and a single object moving silently through our solar system. leaving structured energy in its wake. The retired engineer may have dragged this into the light, but the truth, whatever it turns out to, belongs to everyone who looks up tonight and wonders. For the first time on this scale, billions of people are asking the same question. Are we really alone? If you're following this investigation, stay critical. Stay curious. Don't accept every claim, but don't look away either. Scientific truth rarely arrives as a dramatic announcement. It arrives as a pattern that becomes too clear to ignore. Watch the NASA briefing. Watch the data from independent observatories. And when you look up at the night sky, remember, that tiny, dim point near Pegasus might carry answers older than our species itself. This is still unfolding. Stay tuned, stay questioning, and keep your eyes on the stars. And if you want every major update, breakdown, and revelation in the 3IATLAS story, make sure you subscribe to Deep Space, because whatever this object truly is, we're only at the beginning.